I don't know about you, but I feel so blessed to be here. And this energy of Sai that's been filling this place, filling our hearts and soul. I'm sure each one of us have felt Swami's presence. And I hope we carry this with us when we go back home tonight. I want to take this opportunity before I forget. Baba says it's so important to thank people. I want to thank the Port of Spain Sai Center chairperson, Sister Gayatri, for allowing me to do this offering, and for everyone to be part of this. Because the more we get together, the more we explore Swami's teachings, the more we try to understand his divinity, the more we begin to understand our own. And the more we feel connection with him, we are actually establishing connection within our own self. And this is the beauty of that spiritual path. Like we started this morning with meditation on his form, and that form led to the formless, the aspect of divinity where there are no limitations. Even the name and form is a limiting factor to this limitless, unconditionally divine principle. Salokya, Baba says, Sarupya, Samipya, and Sayujya. These are the 4 words he uses to show us the path to that ultimate fulfillment of oneness with the divine. And we ended with a lovely song, Soham, Soham, that am I, that am I, that am I. I call Krishna, but I end with Soham, that am I. I call Jesus, I end with Soham, that am I. I call Rama, it all leads us to the same one goal, the divine principle that we all are. Salokya, as Baba would explain, is where we get together. This satsang, this is Salokya. Sa is divine, Lokya is a divinity. So Salokya, we enter into this world of divinity through satsangs, through study circles, through get-togethers, through bhajans, through discussions, through listening of Swami's discourses and teachings. We get into this world which is divine. And then we come across a name and a form that speaks to our heart. Sarupya, a form that we associate with divinity. And then we adopt this form as our gateway to the formless. And then we engage this form, build a relation with this form. We engage with this form in deep conversations. We meditate on this form. We talk to this form. We think of this form day in and day out. This name and form becomes very fabric of our soul. It brings us closer. Samipya. The divine proximity is established. And as this proximity becomes more and more and more concrete, more evident, more prominent, more explicit in our lives, we begin to experience a sense of emergence, Sayujya, where slowly you and the form become one. Many of us feel that this attaining of oneness, we get a glimpse of it in our meditations or in our prayer or during a bhajan chanting. We feel that experience of heightened consciousness, oneness with Swami. And then we lose it. And we beat ourselves. Why not we hold that forever? But here is where Baba gave us such a beautiful exposition that it is not necessary to hold on to that forever. You could, if you can. It is a divine blessing and the grace. But that is the highest state. And he explains to us, because one boy said, how do I, Swami, hold you all the time in that highest philosophy that you want us to practice? How do we hold you there? How do we be in that state all the time? Baba says, why do you have to be in that state all the time? In any state, you can still experience that oneness. How? And this is how he beautifully explains. He said, when Vibhishana was in Lanka, and he noticed Hanuman in all his glory and action, he asked Hanuman, so what is your secret? What is your relation with Rama? And then Hanuman says, and Swami said this applies to all of us. And Hanuman tells him that when I am in my body consciousness, when I think I am Hanuman, then I am a servant and he is my master. I obey whatever he tells me to do. When I associate myself with my emotions and my mind, then I become a devotee and he is my Lord. I worship him. But in my deep meditations, when I close my eyes and experience my spirit, then Rama and I are one. And Baba went on to explain that at any state, it is that same oneness that is reflected as a relationship. So you being a servant and Baba being the master is an expression of that oneness. But it expresses itself through your body relationship, because at this point, I am Sundar, you're Terry, and so on and so forth. We associate ourselves the name and form, and therefore we have a role here. But it is an expression of that oneness. I'm a servant, you're my master. You tell me what to do, I will do. And then we go deeper and sometimes experience a heightened emotion, state of emotion in bhakti, in aloneness with God. We experience that oneness in conversation. And then we begin to worship him. So out of the sheer joy of being there, the closeness is established, samipya, where he becomes our Lord and we become a devotee. As a servant, I have a role to play. I'm perhaps an office bearer in the organization or whatever. I have to do my duties. I say, he has done it, let us follow it systematically. But then when you sit down and you sing, at that point it doesn't matter who you are, what position you hold, whether you're CEO or a president or it doesn't matter. At that point, you become a devotee, he becomes God. You lose yourself in that relationship. And if you continue in this path, then at points you will begin to understand in your deep meditation that you and God are finally one. All of these, Baba said, are the expressions of that same getting oneness, the experience of that oneness in different form. So we don't have to hold ourselves in that so-called state of Atmic oneness all the time. We can still be extremely functional in the world in a different relationship. It is the same person playing a different role. The same divine principle becomes your master. The same divine principle becomes the God of your choice. The same divine principle becomes a reflection of your inner divinity. You know, there was a point when I was, when I said earlier, it was curiosity led me to admiration. Admiration slowly became devotion. I don't know when it happened. I don't know how exactly it happened, but it happened. Watching him, building that relationship, slowly conversing with him within and without, that samipya began to establish itself strongly. And rather sarupya, the name and form, became the name and form of my choice. I just fell in love with Swami. The devotion took over. And there was a time in the early years that Baba would encourage me, because I think I needed at that point. So he would allow me to take pictures. I had got a camera for myself and I would take all kinds of pictures of Swami everywhere, wherever he was, of his feet, of his hands. Every time I would think what mudra he's doing, let me get them all in record. And so I was trying to take as many pictures, and Baba would smile, encourage me. Even he would give me even camera rolls like he did for so many other boys. He would just throw rolls so that we could take more and more pictures. And I became obsessed literally with the name and form of Swami. I had actually learned to memorize him. When I say memorize him, literally I mean I would memorize exactly how that fold goes, what was the shade in that fold of the robe, and then the next day morning in my meditation I'll bring that to my memory. So I got to perfect my name and form to the point that I could recollect him very, very vividly. And it helped me in my meditation. It became more and more real, the name and form. And the more I meditated, the more I felt Swami was talking to me and engaging in that conversation. And it became so surreal. But then there comes a time when the caterpillar ends and the butterfly has to come out. You can't remain a caterpillar all the time. And this is the beauty of Swami being the Sadguru. He makes you lean on him, depend on him, pray to him, build a relation, and then finally he again pushes you back to the source, very source, what you're actually searching for. What I'm going to share with you is a very personal experience, but I think it's important that you know That this is why I so strongly believe in this path of spirituality. This is not a concept to me anymore. It never has been for a long, long time. The idea of experiencing divinity, experiencing God is real and is open for all of us. And I think this is what Swami wants us to do in our lives. And live in that awareness. Once you've tasted the highest, that charges you and changes your perspectives in life. So there was this time in the mid-80s where I was so attached to Swami's form. I would memorize his form. The night before, when we would sing bhajans, I would be on the second row so I could get to see him sitting on the chair. And the 15 odd minutes that he sat on the chair, I would memorize him. I would say, tomorrow morning I have to see this again in my meditation. And the next day morning I would say, what exactly was Swami doing? How was his feet placed? Every single aspect of it, as detailed as I could go. While that was going on, there was a deeper yearning of becoming closer and closer to that form that began to build up. By this time I was out of Swami's room. I was not in Swami's room as on a day-to-day basis, but occasionally, of course, on many occasions he would call for work and things like that. So this yearning to get closer to Swami increased. I wasn't sure what exactly I was asking for. So I kept writing to Swami, Swami, I want you, I want you, I want you. In spite of him talking to me and giving me all the other chances, there was a deeper yearning. I wasn't able to place my finger. I wasn't myself sure what do I mean by I want Swami. But I said, this is the only person I can ask. I want more of this form. Is it form I wanted? Is it what? I don't know. But I wanted to experience it more. The Samipya begins to increase a thirst. Almost like an obsession, if you will. And so I kept writing to Swami. Every day, every 2 days I would write a letter. And we had the privilege as students, we could go right up to the door. We don't have to wait for darshan. We would go right up to the door and say, can you please give this letter to Swami? And they would go ask Swami's permission, come down and say, okay, take it. And every day when I would give, Swami would accept the letter. And there was a point when Swami started indicating to me that I have to go beyond the form, understand that. I was not getting it. In fact, it reached even a point when Swami slowly started discouraging me from, he wouldn't give me namaskar. He'd say, hey, wait, don't do this, and try to avoid me. The more he did that, the more I was trying to cling on to him. There was even a time I remember he gave a long 1.5 hour discourse or some in the interview room, and I was a point of attention, and he said, this is a mad fellow, this is a hysteria, he's emotionally broken down, and he kind of really butchered my ego, punctured it, told all the boys, this is mad, like this is not devotion, this is hysteria, this, that. And I wasn't getting it, but he would take my letters where I would express this. But I didn't know that he was trying to teach me something more. I was saying, no Swami, I want you, I want you, I want you. And this went on for months. And then I think a time came when he must have said, you know what, this guy is too dumb, he's not getting it. So I have to spell it out for him. And so one afternoon he had called us for some work. I was there, and there was a moment where again Swami and I were alone in that room upstairs. And Swami said, so what is it that you want? Because he knows I've been asking in my letters, saying, Swami, I want you, I need you, I need to get closer to you. So he said, so inka emi kavala, means what else do you want now? Like, am I not giving you enough? What else do you want? I said, Swami, I want you. And he said, you want me? Take me. Okay, take me. I just stood staring at Swami. What do you mean, take him? What does it even mean? I just stood staring at Swami. Then Swami shook his head. He said, come here. I went, I knelt at Swami's feet. And then Swami opened the 2 buttons on my shirt. He said, first he said, tell me one thing. You want Swami, he pointing to him, you want Swami or you want Sai? Pointing to my chest. He opened this, put his finger right into my chest, touching my skin. You want Sai? I didn't know what it meant. I had no clue. And I said, Swami, I want both. I know it sounds very cheeky, but I wasn't cheeky. I really didn't know what to say. Should I say something and regret later? Because I said, Swami, both. In Telugu, this was all in conversation in Telugu. Niku Swami kavala, Sai kavala. I said, Swami, iddaru kavala. I want both of these people. I want Swami and Sai. Swami very patiently shook his head. And he said, Swami will be here today, he won't be there tomorrow. He will talk to you today, he won't talk to you tomorrow. He will be in Puttaparthi today, tomorrow he will be in Vrindavan. I was listening. But Sai will be with you, in you, around you, above you, below you. Now tell me. I said, Sai. He said, good. And he asked me to touch his feet. So I took Namaskar. I was thrilled that something big happened here. And then I went back to the hostel and I started thinking, wow, what was that? What did Swami say? What he said, you want Swami? Sai is in me, with me, around me. So this was great. And the next day morning, I sat again for my meditations after the Omkaram. In the hostel, after the Omkaram, the 108 names are chanted. And when that is chanting, I would do my meditation. So it was about 20 minutes or so, because they do the slow chanting like we did this morning. So when I closed my eyes to meditate, I began once again, as usual, because I was so established in that practice, I began to meditate on Swami's form. From the top to bottom, bottom to top, as long as I wanted, up and down. And then I would end. But this day, what happened was, and I started meditating on Swami's form, it suddenly hit me, but this is Swami. This is Swami I am meditating upon. What did he say by Sai? So I had to change something, but I didn't know what to do. And my meditation crashed from that day. I said, but this is Swami, this is the name and form. I know he meant this, and he said, I won't be here today. I will be here today, I won't be there tomorrow. So he's asked me to go to seek Sai, but I said, what does that Sai mean? How is that different from Swami? I didn't understand. And so when I meditated on Swami's form, it just crashed, because I said, this is Swami. I shouldn't, not that I shouldn't, but I said, what did Swami mean then? I didn't understand. And therefore, it took me days and weeks of intense prayer. Once again, I would say, Swami, guide me, where is this? But this time I didn't write to him, because I knew this is not about writing, there's something he wants me to do. And so I prayed. I said, show me this path. What does it even mean? Swami and Sai. And I couldn't meditate anymore, so it was almost like everything got shattered. What was going good was also shattered. And then it happened one day, one morning, as I was meditating. But I would still, every morning I'll still do Swami's form, and I'll say, okay, this is Swami, so I don't know what Swami meant by saying Sai. So I'll just leave it at that. So expecting the same thing to happen, I sat down, I meditated on Swami's form. And then suddenly I felt this presence in front. My eyes are closed. And then before I couldn't even open my eyes, and I could feel his presence, and that presence, it wasn't the form. If it was, it didn't stay there for very long. It changed into a brilliant light. And even before I could feel that presence of light, warmth and love and intense at the same time. Even before I could even open and think what was happening, the light just filled under me and entered into me, filled me completely. It was the very first time that I had ever such a powerful experience beyond Swami, my first spiritual experience, if you will. And so it filled my whole body, and then shot out in all directions. It just shot out. And I was filled with light, completely. All I could see and experience was warmth, intensity, but yet there was no fear. There was just, I could die this moment if I chose to. It was like that beautiful feeling. And at that moment, I instantly understood that this is Sai. This is Sai. And from that day on, that gradual, after that experience, I knew where to go. I knew what direction it was. And that experience never happened immediately after again, because you sit down next day hoping it happens. It never happened. You don't plan these things. It wasn't imagination. It was something so real, and next day you're excited. Maybe this will happen again. Nothing is happening, right? But a greater understanding happened. That experience, that awareness. See, Baba would say, I have not come to give experiences. I have come to give wisdom. I have come to give wisdom. So with that experience, as I say, was not simply an experience, but along with that came such a powerful understanding of this is the true infinite energy constantly expanding. This is the true Swami that finally fills you and doesn't stay inside, it just expands, explodes literally into that universal expansion. And I could never see the end of that light. So that wisdom comes to you, and experience really becomes almost redundant, almost unimportant. But the wisdom that stays with you is what empowers you. See, that's the most important lesson I have understood from that time, and I carry on even to this day. And I tell people, Swami would always say, the experience is given to you for a lesson. Take the lesson, drop the experience. If Vibhuti materializes in somebody's house, Vibhuti is a lesson to teach you omniscience and omnipotence and omnipresence of Sai. Take that lesson and forget the Vibhuti. It could come today, it could stop tomorrow. Don't chase that Vibhuti. Or don't chase the miracles, don't chase the experiences, take the lesson behind it. And that is how powerful he was in his teaching. So after that, the experience changed. My whole outlook began to change slowly. It still took almost 10 years after that for me to completely be established in the fact that Swami is no longer and can never be limited to a form. And when that realization dawned on me, finally I left Puttaparthi, because I knew there was nothing more there. I say this not out of audacity. I know it sounds odd, but no. Anyway, so that understanding opened up such a great experience that, my gosh, this is who Swami really is. Not that form, not somebody working hard day and night, not somebody building a mission, but this is truly him. This is where that form comes to. This is where the name comes into being, into presence. It's almost as if that name and form has crystallized itself because of this churning of the ocean. You know, and Krishna says, for the protection of the good and for the destruction of the evil, I manifest myself yuga after yuga, right? It is almost like when evil and good both reach a climax, when good people are praying for something to happen in the world and the evil is going up, evil in the sense delusion, in other words. And when all of this is happening together, that force becomes so intense that the cosmic principle that is within each one of us manifests itself as our reflection and then begins to teach us. To me, that is how I understand this concept of avatarhood. That at some level we pray, at some level somebody else, because of their bad deeds, also caused the same thing. Ultimately, that is caused for that. Because the good people prayed and there were others who needed to be corrected, it just happened. That intensity that we create in this consciousness, this struggle, manifests itself. And then the moment it manifests itself, the world begins to evolve. The universe, the consciousness of man itself begins to evolve. That is why I said earlier in this day, and I stand by it, and I want you to go back and study what happened in the last 80, 90 years, from 1925 onwards. When Sai came, Shirdi Baba, he said, sowed the seeds. He served. He cooked the food. So that part of Sathya Sai presence in the world really helped the consciousness of man to go up. Like I said, human rights, everything came into fusion there, right? So that awareness, that beauty between Shirdi Sai and Sathya Sai avatarhood, that happened and fell in place beautifully. It's almost like this is an occurrence in the cosmos caused by all of us, because the divine principle within us is reflecting outside and beginning to teach us. It's a game of consciousness, if you will, a play of consciousness, if you will. And so that energy and that light became so intense, that experience, that it left me for days in a trance-like situation. When I say trance, I was not walking and talking like a zombie, but it just left me so occupied with that. Wow, what was that? What was that first experience of this formless aspect of God? And unknowing to me, I began to form words of that experience. What was that light experience? And that's why I said this is a very personal story I'm saying. So I began to write down. I am light, glowing light, radiating light, because I wanted to know what that experience was. I wanted to write it down, but what came out was almost like a poem. I am light, glowing light, radiating light, intensified light. God transmutes my darkness. God overcomes my darkness, transmuting it into light. Flowing through me is a crystal river of light that cannot be qualified by human thoughts and feelings. I am an outpost of the divine. Such darkness that has filled me is now transmuted into the divine light. I am light, glowing light, radiating light, intensified light. God transmutes my darkness and transforms it into light. And so on. I wrote this, and then I began saying it again and again and again, because these words formed on its own, so I thought, and I wrote it down. And then I stayed with that for a long time. Many, many years later, in 2004, I believe, we were attending study circles in Cleveland. So we began the Sai study circles. We began attending because we were new. We just got into the Sai fold. We started attending these study circles. So there were 30, 40 Americans would get together, because they couldn't relate to bhajans that we sang. So they would meet separately on another day and do a study circle. They would take up Swami's teachings and study it. So we began to attend both bhajans on one day and then study circles on the other day. And then in some context of this formless talk, So in this context of this formless talk, something inspired me, and I shared with them this story of how Swami, because it was a small group of friends, so I shared with them the story of how Swami guided me and taught me this and gave me this experience, divine experience. For the very first time I understood what it was, from Swami to Sai, from the form to the formless, how that transition occurs. And it actually happened when the form, I felt his presence in front of me, and it just filled me with light and soaked me literally. That day I really understood the meaning of the light is in me, I am in the light, I am the light. That really became so real. And therefore I shared with them that poem. I said, this is the poem I wrote as a consequence of that experience. That night, after, we talked about that a little bit, and I came home and we went to bed. I had a strange dream. And the dream was, I'm sitting in Swami's room, and there are men clothed in white robes, beard, white robes, almost like the Jesus Christ kind of group there. They are sitting, and what I think is Jesus is sitting at the back of the interview room with his knees folded up, sitting like this, his head against the wall. When we sit comfortably like this, he's sitting like that and looking at Swami. And in the dream, Swami says, tell your poem. And I say this poem. In the dream, I'm repeating that poem. And then Swami says, who wrote this poem or something like this? And I say, Swami, I wrote this poem. And Swami says, good. And he finishes the interview, and one person taps me at the back. He's kind of, in that next scene, he's kind of disappeared from there. He's probably taken somebody inside, I'm not sure. But there's somebody taps me on the back. I look back, there's one of these bearded gentlemen in white robe. He tells me, that is my poem. In the dream, he said, my poem. And then he gives me a card. Here's my card. And I take that card, and it says, one word is written there. It says Kutumi, K-U-T-H-U-M-I. And I woke up from the dream. The moment that happened, I woke up from the dream. And I told Maya, this is a strange word, Kutumi. What is it? What is it a thing? Is it, what does it even mean? What is Kutumi? It's not Sanskrit. What does it even mean? And so, even in those days there was Google, so I went and typed Kutumi, and at first nothing came out. When I looked, because Google was not so good at that time, I guess. But I dug further, and suddenly I started reading about enlightened masters, workers of light, ascended masters, and Kutumi name was there. So Kutumi is, and his history is that he's an Indian sage who's ascended. And so I said, what? So Kutumi is ascended master, because being in Puttaparthi and all, we don't know about ascended masters and all, we don't come across them. And so unless somebody talks about it, there was no occasion for that. So I read about it and I'm like, oh, what is this? Kutumi. So why did he say it was his poem? So I looked for his writings, everything, but nothing turned out. And then I said, let me type the first 2 lines of this poem. I typed, I am light, glowing light, radiating light, intensified light. And then boom, there was somebody else to whom Kutumi appeared and inspired him to write this poem. But it was a lot more intricate than what I wrote. I just got these few lines, but that was a lot more longer. That poem was a lot more longer. But the gist of it was, the wordings were, I am light, glowing light, radiating light, intensified light. God consumes my darkness, transmuting into light. Flowing through me is a crystal river of light. I am an outpost of the divine. Such darkness that has used me is now transmuted in the divine light that I am light, I am light, I am light. I live in light. I am light's fullest dimension. I am light's purest intention. I am light, light, light. And there were some more paragraphs in the middle, but I was just reading up, top, middle, and I was like, this is exactly the words that I could write when I wanted to write down this experience. All that came out was this. These words are forming in my head, and I thought I was composing something, so I wrote it down, and now this dream opens up, and then it gave me the chills. And as recent as 12, 13 years ago, 14 years ago, and then I began to understand that we are truly interconnected. This consciousness that we talk about is one. So when you think you're getting an idea, you're borrowing from the same connection. Somebody is blessing you at some level and you're getting it. It doesn't have to be an ascended master, it could be, but that is why it is that Akasha, the space, is considered the element which stores every single thought of every single person in the universe. And in these moments of expanded awareness, you connect with this source, and that information gets downloaded to you instantly. You think it is yours because that is how we train ourselves, but it's not. And you and I know this. We have all experienced it at different levels, where sometimes you get that inspiration, a thought, you know it's really not you, but you can't explain where it came from, and therefore we say, Swami gave me this, somehow I just got this brilliant idea. It doesn't download bits and pieces, it just comes, boom, it's right there. Almost like it's meant to be there. In an instant, it is downloaded. That to me was my understanding, experience of the fact that it is one consciousness that has manifested itself into all of us. That day I understood how Swami would explain the statue of Nataraja or the aspect of Nataraja. Why is Nataraja such a powerful aspect of Shiva? And why Shiva, who is meditating, is now dancing, right? But there's a very powerful significance to that principle of the form. And this is why Swami says, when you see the form, go to the formless from that. Use that as your tool to go to the formless. Because in each of these gods that is presented to us through Vedanta, through the Upanishads, each of these gods are powerful symbols explaining the formless, helping you to break that conditioned mindset. So you begin to think in dimensions, in ways that you're not usually associated or trained yourself to think. So Nataraja, you see, among all the fine arts, there is one art where you cannot separate the art from the artist, and that is dance. you cannot separate the art from the artist. They could have put singing Shiva. They could have put painting Shiva. They used dancing Shiva. Why? Because that is only art where you cannot separate the art from the artist. If somebody is singing, I like Pranav's singing, but I don't like him, I can record his voice and say, I'll just enjoy his voice. I can separate this art from the singer. I like somebody's painting, I don't like the painter, I can take the painting with me. But dance, I can't. I can't say, I like your dance, but I don't like you. Sorry. I can't watch his dance or her dance without the artist. I have to understand the artist, because the artist is a dancer. The art is the artist and the art become one. So if Baba would say, Nataraja, his dance resembles this creation. This creation as you see it now, you, me, the day and night cycles, the in and out of our breath, the cosmic rhythms, seasonal cycles, birth and death of stars and galaxies, rotation of planets around the sun, all of this rhythmic expansion, contraction, inhalation, exhalation is all somebody's dance. And we are all part of that dance. Right now, you may be a small little anklet somewhere, I might be one strand of his jada, we don't know. But we are all part of that one dance. And therein lies our connection. It is one dancer who is dancing and he's enjoying the dance. You and I are part of that dance. And that realization, if we understand, is you will understand this aspect of one consciousness becoming many. I am one, I become the many. Eko ham bahushyam. I become the many. I am one, I become the many. I am still one. I can still become the many. I can have the cake and eat it too. I am always one. I will be one, Baba says. And yet, I become the many as well. That is, imagine the dancer is only one. And yet he is dancing. He can do any dance he wants. He is still one. And yet in the dance, he becomes everything. Every aspect of him becomes creation. Pralaya happens. Yugas pass by. It's all one dance. That is the power of this symbolism in Vedanta. That is the energy behind the Sanatana. I met a guru who, among the 2 or 3 gurus who taught me Vedic astrology in India. This teacher said, you know how these deities were formed? I said, maybe the sages gave them. So he said, you think somebody sat back and said, okay, what God do I create today? And they painted something on the rock. He said, no, I don't believe that happened. He said, so you believe there is these deities somewhere sitting there waiting to punish you or reward you? I said, I don't believe that also. So what is the truth? He says the deities are there and yet not there. How? He said, Vedas, the Vedic chanting gave birth to Upanishads. Upanishads gave birth. The essence of all this was, these are all over hundreds and thousands of years, okay? It did not happen by one person. It has passed from generation to generation, constantly yearning, searching, seeking, practicing, getting that revelation. So he said, if you take a mantra, Om Namah Shivaya, and you chant it, you don't need to know Shiva, you don't need to know anything. But this mantra that is culled in from hidden places in Vedic chanting, they remove these Bijaksharas, they form it together. It's not an intellectual process, we won't even go there to understand that, I have never understood that. But he said, when these mantras are given to you, and when you chant it, and when you chant it, the energy of the mantra will create that form. Because that mantra itself that form, but you don't know. But in order for your mind to grasp it, that mantra becomes the Shiva that you see. He said the same thing with Ganesha. When you say Om, Shrim, Hrim, Klim, Glaum, Gam, Ganapataye. Shrim, Hrim, Klim, Glaum, Gam. That combination of these sounds begin to create an energy pattern. And that energy pattern begins to present itself to you in a name, in a form. And then the sages would say, oh, what more meaning is there in this form? Why an elephant? the only elephant that has strength, that has wisdom, timidity, and the ability to destroy any obstacle. Have you ever heard of an elephant getting lost in a forest? Oh, sorry, I forgot my way. Where did I turn? He creates the path. He doesn't forget his path. He creates a path. So, and yet he's very strong. He's the strongest animal that you and I can relate to. And yet, is there ferociousness in him? No. There is wisdom in an elephant. When you think of an elephant, there is wisdom, timidity, a calmness dawns into you, right? So all that sound manifests this beautiful energy, and they say, invoke this energy in the beginning of anything you do, because this energy from within you has the power to clear the path for you. So you begin to see things clearly, you begin to take the right decisions. That is why they said this is a powerful mantra you chant before you do anything. Not because if you don't chant, Ganesha is going to get upset. There is nobody there to get upset. You can't ascribe your qualities onto God. Rather, you leave yours behind. He's not a God or a traffic policeman waiting to punish you. But this is the energy of each and every deity that Vedanta presents itself. This is the energy that is available to all of us. And how do you realize it? He said, how do I know? How do I believe? He said, chant it and see. Keep chanting and you will find that form manifesting. Even if you refuse it, that form will manifest. Even if you don't want to believe it, it will manifest. Because the combination of sounds is so Vedic chanting, Vedic sounds, Vedic mantras. The Sanskrit language itself has 50 alphabets. Each alphabet is an energy, bija, is a sound energy. That is why Baba says, let's not get carried away and get confused by all this. You don't have to, because Baba has given us the best shortcut. He said, to sum it all up, he said, start the day with the highest form of yoga, the highest form of worship, the highest form of meditation, chant the Om. Because that one Om has all of the sounds inside it. When he blesses a child writing Om, when he creates a medallion giving an Om, when he talks to us about Om, when he says Om, listen to that sound of Om, it's powerful. It is a particular frequency that drills right into you, clearing so much. That's why I said, every word he speaks, the sound of his voice itself is that powerful mantra that goes into you and starts beginning to make the change that you want to so desperately see in yourself. So that is where the power comes. And you see, without getting too much detail, when they talk of these chakras and the petals in each of these chakras, the total number of petals in the 6 chakras is 50. And each petal is one alphabet from the Sanskrit. So each of this is a combination of sounds. So when you combine sounds from one, Om Namah Shivaya is a combination of different petals along the centers of consciousness. Aim, Hreem, Shreem, Sri Matre Namaha. There is a powerful combination of sounds that is happening. And these sounds begin to actually affect the change. That is why Baba said, chant the name of God. He says the best thing, don't worry about all that, just Namasmarana. The Krishna has a powerful Bijakshara mantras into it. Kra is a very powerful. Rama, Ra is Agni, that Vaishwanar Agni that we are talking about is embedded in that one word Ra. Is so powerful. That is why in Kundalini, in yoga, the Bijakshara for this center is Ram. Not R-U-M, Ram. I saw some eyebrows going up. So good, we got the license. No, just wanted to put it out there, make clear there's no misunderstanding. So, Ram is the Bijakshara. Lam, Vam, Ram, Yam, Hum, Om. So these are the Bijakshara mantras. So when you say Rama, 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 it's actually bringing in health back into your body in the simplest of terms, because you're once again reigniting the heat which is slowly going away. The life force is extinguishing itself because of our lifestyle. So one of the practices, in addition to all the other practices, not in lieu of, but in addition to all the other practices, is chanting the name of God. Rama, 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 Rama. That is why Valmiki told the sage Narada, I believe, told Valmiki, Rama, Rama, he said, I am a dacoit, I can't chant all these good names. I'm used to killing people. Mara. He said, okay, chant Mara. Meaning is opposite. But he knows that Mara, 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 Mara. It will become that. Because ultimately the sound makes that. As long as you get Rama in it, that power is there. And so Rama now becomes Aryaputra. He becomes the sun among the planets, and planets are embodied with these avatars. The 9 planets, the 9 avatars, they're all linked. That is why they wanted to teach you. Rama is the sun, Krishna is the moon. 2 powerful cosmic energies are crystallized in name and form, and in the name itself. That is why the greatest Maha Mantra is Hare Rama, Hare Krishna. Krishna, Krishna, Hare, Hare. Ha is now you're bringing Shiva into it. There is, if you understand the sounds and the meaning, it becomes very powerful. And Ra, Hare is a very powerful mantra again. Because this is hum, ha, you're activating the highest element, the sound element from you. Sound is so powerful because among all the yogas, that is why it says the highest form of yoga is Nada yoga. Nada is sound. Nada Brahman. Sound is Brahman. Sound, meditating on sound, contemplating on the sound is the highest form of yoga. And Swami would pay attention to that sound. That is why he said, paid attention to the bhajans, the quality of bhajans. He said, yeah, feeling and all is good, but sing properly because you are paying respect to the sound. So, this is not exactly to the topic, but it's coming to me and I have to share this because I said bhajans and sound. When I started singing, you have all seen Brother Hariharan, and he was here a couple of years ago. A wonderful bhajan singer. He was in our batch of students and he was my mentor, my guru, if you will, for teaching bhajans. I have great regard for him. So he would struggle with me because Baba picked us up, he said sing. And I wanted to sing, but I never knew how to start on scale. I didn't know what that so many blacks and so many whites, and I'm like, oh gosh. And Swami is sitting in the front, they will put on the scale, look at you, and you're like, oh gosh, how do I even start? How do you, right on start, how does it match? I had no clue. I would say, just play a line for me, play a line, do something, help me. I was so nervous. And I was thinking, but Baba says sing from your heart. Why am I breaking my head with all this Shruti and Raga and getting into all this complication? It takes the fun out of singing bhajans. And so Baba gave a discourse in the weeks that followed and all that. So Baba gave a discourse about bhajan singing, bhakti. And the discourse, he said, don't worry about Raga and Tala and just use bhava. The emotions is what matters. The feeling is what matters. That is what God listens to. Sing fearlessly. Don't worry about Raga and Tala. So I was like, yes, finally. He finished that discourse. Hang in there. Don't celebrate too much. Okay, wait. Like me, I was like, finally, oh gosh, I'm freed from that tension. Because I was afraid of making a mistake. Because if I make a mistake, Baba will say, stop him from singing. I don't want to lose that. Stopping from singing means losing a chance to sit right at Swami's feet. I don't want to miss that because I was memorizing his form, remember? So I was into that. And so I was very happy. He finished his discourse, came down, and it was part of some occasion. So people were distributing prasadam and this and that. So he came to us boys like this, and he stood. He said, how was the talk? Good? Of course we will say good. We said yes, Swami. And I particularly said yes, Swami. I was very happy, really happy that Swami said this. Then very softly he said, listen, that thing I said about bhavam is for people who follow, not people who lead in the microphone. It is not for people who lead in the microphone. It is mainly for people who follow. You, he said, looked at the boy who played the harmonium, and I think it was Brother Hariharan. He said, you focus on the ragam. Looked at the tabla boy. You focus on the talam. And he looked at the singers. When you get the raga and the tala correct, then they will experience the bhava. And I will sit on the chair and enjoy bhava, raga and tala. And then he added, what you're doing here is seva. Same as that person looking after the chappals out there. For me, there is no difference. That was because he paid so much attention and importance to that nada, the sound. He said, this is seva. Don't think, oh, today my heart feels I want to sing something and come and sing. You might feel enjoyable, but what about others who are listening? They'll be like, gosh, when is he going to finish this bhajan? Right? And you do disservice when you're not able to evoke the bhava. And Swami said, I sit here and I watch people's faces. And if you're singing, they are not clapping and singing joyfully, then I see the pain in their faces. You don't see, you're looking at me. I'm looking at devotees. So there was one boy who sang, Anatha Bandho Sai Prabho, Aparadha Kshama Karo Sai Prabho. Please forgive my faults, O Sai. Right? And boys don't sing this bhajan. You won't have heard this. It's not there any recorded bhajan, especially after this incident that happened. And so one boy sang, he sings very beautifully. I don't want to mention his name, it doesn't matter. He sang very beautifully, this bhajan. And then Swami came to him next day morning. Walked up to him, said, very good singing. Next time, such bhajans you sing in the bathroom. No, seriously, Swami was very sweet to him. He was not making fun of him. Sing in the bathroom, I will listen. Then he said, I know you made little mistake, you're asking for forgiveness. But for your mistake, why should everybody else ask for forgiveness? You won't ask forgiveness? You sing in the bathroom, I'll forgive you. You sing in the mic, everybody is asking for forgiveness. Why do they have to ask for forgiveness? So you see how important Swami plays a role. It's not about what you feel at this point. I feel like singing a complicated bhajan. I get a chance with the mic. Oh, I love my voice. Who doesn't, right? Oh, I'm going to sing. But is it really required? If the bhajans are going fast, there is tempo, there is speed, let me be part of it. Let me sing a short, fast bhajan, increase the tempo. And people are in bliss at that point. At that point you say, Prem Ishwar hai. It's a nice bhajan. But at the wrong time it will be like, drop the ball. Oh God, this bhajan starts. After Shiva, 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 we all feel it, right? We all experience it. As listeners, as the bhajan tempo goes up, tempo drops. That energy drops. So anyway, that was the bhajan part of it. But then Swami, why did he emphasize that you practice? So he said practice, 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 practice 50 times every bhajan before you come to sing. But then when you're singing, the practice element is out of the way and you're confident. Now you can even enjoy it. You can bring the bhava in you and your bhava will reflect in everybody. They feel the energy of the bhajan. If you listen to some people singing, you'll know there is energy. You feel uplifted automatically. The person is singing who's singing experiences it. You experience it. Everybody experiences it. Right? But that comes out of a lot of practice. Practice, practice, practice and learning. And so, because sound is so important to Baba, and because he is talking about that sound that comes as a nada, that sound is Brahman, that sound is God himself, that sound is the energy, Bijakshara is hidden in it. When you say Rama and Krishna, there's powerful mantras in it. If you can't sing, chant it. That is fine. Don't mix the two. Everybody can chant. Everybody cannot sing, but everybody can chant. So chant. That's fine. You have the same energy. But when you sing, pay attention. That is Goddess Saraswati. There is a rule to be followed in singing because the nada cannot be tarnished. The sound should not be tarnished. The purity of the sound should be maintained because that sound goes into Akasha and it begins to reverberate itself and settle into you as a new reality. Rama, Krishna begin to manifest inside of you. Why don't we experience it? Because Baba would say, and he has said this many times, just like I said earlier, there has to be warmth to melt. Even butter needs consistent warmth. Constant. If that constancy is not there, come once in a while and go. Even butter will not melt. And if the Lord whose heart is like a butter, how will that heart melt? Unless there is constant yearning. Constant, 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 constant. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Why can't it go constantly, constantly, constantly? Yes, we'll forget, go back. Initially you'll forget, go back, go back. Don't judge yourself saying, oh, I can't do it, so I give up. That is the worst part. The mistake is not in missing it here and there. The mistake is giving up the practice. But when we practice the name and the form, then he will take you to the formless. You can't do that consciously. I didn't do it consciously. I have no way to tell you how to do that consciously. But focusing on the form, getting closer to the form intensely, constant, constant, integrated awareness. That awareness of the name and form, try to integrate it into your everyday life. Make everything as an offering to Swami. Think of him, talk to him. And when opportunity arises, sing. Bring those names. Should I sing only Rama, only Krishna? It doesn't matter. The Ra is in Krishna, the Ra is in Rama. Sa, which represents Sat, is in Sai. It doesn't matter. All of these Sanskrit names are powerful Bijakshara mantras. Those mantras of sound will begin to actually cause the change that you are yearning for. That is why Swami says, don't sing, Main khada hoon, please help me, do this. It's all about you and where you are from and what problems you are facing. He says, don't do all that. I don't have time for that. Because now you're so caught up in what you want to do, where you are, how much I'm suffering, Swami, you don't know who I am. I mean, I've been your devotee for 30 years, you're not helping me. He won't help because he's waiting, like Arjuna, wallowing in self-pity. Krishna waits. And then, that's why Swami says, don't worry about your problem. I know it's there. Put it at my feet. And now lose yourself in my thought. Yoga kshemam vahamyam. I will take care of that. We have to learn to trust that divine process. That energy that you will take care of this for me. I know, I believe, I trust, I know. And so you handle it. Let me simply live my life trying to be in tune with your core values that you have given me to live. So, because you are worshipping a form, because you are chanting his name, you're in no way inferior than the Jnani who's sitting and absorbed in the formless. Nor can you go there consciously. You can take steps to practice, but you're yearning to get closer and closer to the name and form. He will open that door, like he opened mine and said, do you want Swami or you want Sai? I'm sharing this experience to just tell you that it is absolutely possible. But you have to reach that yearning, that wanting to really experience Swami's divinity has to possess you. You wake up in the morning and say, I want more of Swami. I want this to be part of me. And then slowly that bhakti will merge into jnana, wisdom of the highest kind. Baba would say, when Meera sang, Chalo re man, Ganga Yamuna Tir, he said, you know what it meant? Chalo re man, mind, go to Ganga and Yamuna are your Ida and Pingla, the two breaths is Karma Yoga and Jnana Yoga, Bhakti Yoga and Karma Yoga. That, go to the very source, Jnana, go here. That was the meaning behind Meera's bhajan. She said, go inside. Whether you sing bhajan, whether you serve outside, feeding the poor, whatever, it doesn't matter, because finally it will take you to the very source. Whatever path, it doesn't matter. You can do both, you can do all of them. Somebody asked Swami, and I'll end it in 2 minutes. Somebody asked Swami, Swami, should I do Karma Yoga or should I do Bhakti Yoga, Swami? What should I do, Swami? He said, because this person was living abroad, he said, when you wanted to come to your son's birthday here, did you say, I only will travel business class, if I don't get the ticket, I won't come? He said, no, Swami. Actually, I had problem with my ticket, so I just grabbed whatever I could and came. Why you came? Did you say, no, this is my path, I only travel business class, I don't travel peasant class, as some people call economy class. I travel only business class, I travel only by this flight, I need my lounge time, I have to miss my son's birthday because this doesn't meet. You don't do that. Because you want to be there, you will say, if it's a bullock cart also, it's okay, I'll take, let me start going somewhere. So whatever comes your way, you keep hopping and going because you're so eager to get there on time. That eagerness is what is important there. What path you take becomes immaterial. And this is what Swami said. Your eagerness is what I look for. I don't care whether you're singing bhajans or doing seva. It doesn't matter. What is driving you to do that? You can do that. You can do all of that. Take whatever comes. One day I want to sing, sing. One day you want to serve, sing, serve. Do whatever comes. It's not like you're going back and forth. God is seeing through that. That at the bottom of it all, the fire is burning constantly and the butter will melt. One last thing. So I did this mistake of asking Swami. He said, chant the name of God. Everything I'll take care of. I said, Swami, when should I chant? You know what Swami did? He said, Swami, when should I chant? Anytime. He got so angry that I even asked such a stupid question. he came at me like that. Anytime. Bathroom lokani, kitchen lokani, in bathroom or kitchen or anytime, anywhere, any place. And then he added in Sanskrit, Sarvatra, Sarvakaleshu Hari Nama Chintanam. Sarvatra, any place, Sarvakaleshu, anytime. Oh, should I chant it 11 o'clock at night? Anytime. Should I get up in the morning? If you want to, you get up at 8 but chant. Anytime, any place, but keep chanting. That was, he almost jumped at me. I was like, oh my God, what did I say? But I got how important Swami felt about that importance of don't worry about time and place and good day and bad day for chanting God's name. It really doesn't matter, because what matters is that constant awareness. And that awareness has to be integrated into your everyday life. You figure it out how to do it. You may have a shop to run, you may have a business to go to, you may have a work to do, you may be in careers which take your mind completely off Swami. You figure it out. Pray to him, he'll show you a way. He will show you a way to be constantly in touch like Hanuman did. If in my body consciousness, I am his servant. When I associate myself with my emotions and mind, I am his devotee. When I close my eyes in meditation, he and I are one. And that is why Baba says, ultimately, the path, the unfolding of you as the real devotee is when you begin to understand and begin to experience that connection. You're not making a connection. You're realizing that you've always had this connection. You're removing the debris that makes you believe that somehow you're disconnected with Swami. And that is why he said, go wherever you want. Even if you want to let go of me, I will not let go of you. I will hold your hair so tight. It will be painful, but I will not let go of you, even if you let go of me. That is his promise to his devotees. That is the promise. That is the commitment of a Sadguru. For somebody who tells us that, what more can we ask for? Aham nirvikalpo. I am the Nirvikalpa. Nirakara Rupo. Nirakara Rupa. Formless. Aham. Vibhutva cha sarvatra sarvendriyanam. Vibhuti, everywhere. The idea of Vibhuti signifies omniscience and omnipotence, omnipresence. Because finally everything is, the ash is inherent in everything. Everything can get reduced to the ash. Aham nirvikalpo nirakara rupo vibhutva cha sarvatra sarvendriyanam nacha sangatam naiva muktirna meya. I don't want mukti, I don't want anything, because I am Chidananda Rupa Shivoham Shivoham. Chidananda Rupa Shivoham 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 Saishwaraya Vidmahe Satyadevaya Dhimahi Tanna sarva prachodayat. Sai tanna sarva prachodayat. Shivoham 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 Shivoham. Sairam.
So once again, on behalf of the Sathya Sai International Organization on Trinidad and Tobago, Dr. Sunder Iyer, we want to thank you. And I would just like to really also thank the POSSC Sai Center for taking up the mantle of hosting this program. I know there's a lot of planning, I would have been listening sometime with the chairperson and other people from the center. And there was a lot of planning and so many things going on behind the scene. So what we are seeing here today is just of the hard work of the POSSC Science Center and others, and I would really like to thank them also. Thank you all, and Jai Sai Ram.
I'd like to first thank the members of the POSSC Science Center for coordinating such a beautiful program, and to Devish and Gayatri for all the hard work that you've been putting in, and more so to the leaders of the SSI of Trinidad for blessing the program and allowing it to take place today. It was certainly a success. And just so that you all would know, these type of forums was one from which I was born from in the SSI. So thank you very much. We have two upcoming events, national events. One which will be held this Sunday, the 23rd of September. This program is under the young adults of the SSIO. It's to be held at the Mayaro Sunset Beach Resort. This project is a yearly project which has been held year after year, where we are given the opportunity to serve the visually impaired of Trinidad. And we take them down to Mayaro. It's a one-day event. This event will start at 9 a.m. in the morning. We look forward to seeing each of you there. Preparations, as usual, has to take place for an event like this, which will be done on the Saturday. The event will be this Sunday. And for those of you who would be willing, we'd like help to clean up after the project. It's also a very auspicious time under the Hindu calendar, so we welcome each of you to join us on this very auspicious and momentous occasion as we offer in service to Sami. Another event which will be held under the service wing of the SAI organization will be held at the headquarters of the SAI organization, Fortress Londonville. This will be held on the 14th of October. It's going to be an early event that Sunday morning from 7 a.m. to about 11:30 a.m. It's entitled EnviroFest. And what EnviroFest is geared towards is making everyone aware of Mother Earth, respecting nature, the animals as well, and for us all to be aware of how we can all live harmoniously in one planet, in one universe together. We'll be doing a lot of tree planting and flower upgrading of the Nilayam itself. So it's a sort of a twofold activity happening where we'll be given the opportunity, all those of you who come can participate individually. You can dress and be dressed to get dirty, please, if it's okay. You can come with your forks and all of your garden equipment and be ready to help us plant plants. We are encouraging the children to also come out because it's a way we can show them and teach them how to respect Mother Earth and the importance of each plant on the planet and how we can give back and how we can live together. We'll be having animals alive and they will be promoting animal protection, loving and taking care of the animals of the earth so that we can embrace the animals a little bit more. We'll be encouraging everyone to have a healthy lifestyle and the importance of water, but how to also respect water in the sense that we should not just, take water for granted. It's a very important part of our lives and we should cherish it. We'll be having a lot of drinks and snacks and lunches and so we really would like to see each of you there. It's on the 14th of October. Thank you very much, Simon.
A vote of thanks covers two areas. You thank people who made your program successful, and you also seek to recap briefly what took place in the program. Before I start, I want to chastise all of you for not doing your part. When Sunder was here the first time, you all left the burden on me to hold him. I tried my best. I laid a trap for him. We set up the yoga center. We thought we had him, but he wiggled out. It looked like we could catch him again. But you all need to help me. Vijay just can't sit down with your beard in the back and do nothing. I want all of you collectively to put our efforts, because we might be able to hold him this time. I will reveal the plan secretly to you all as we go on. When a person like Sunder really does what he did today, if your lives are not changed in some minute way, he would have wasted his time. So our biggest gratitude that we can express to him is in the wide-ranging discussions he has had with us. If we hold on to one or two of them and decide to intensify our practices. I am always bowled over by the amount of experiences he has had with this avatar. As I said, from being married, his wife being chosen, minute details, Baba berating him, Baba giving him direction, Baba giving him opportunity to speak. He said when he was in Kodai Canal for 45 days, every single day, Baba gave him an opportunity to speak. I touched Baba's feet once, and I just try to remember that in my head when I do my prayers. And this man has had so many experiences. If this does not change our lives in some minute way, I think I'll better go home and call it George. Call it George. Call it Terry, call it George, call it anything all over. But you all, I mean, we really need to do something. And I'll tell you why it's important, because, and why we really want to thank him so much. When he decided to come down here for another matter, this is about 2 weeks ago, he said, 3 weeks ago, he said, and this is what he said, I've been guided to ask you all of the opportunity to have a retreat. Now when he started speaking on kind of language, you know what's going on. I have been guided. Who guided him? Why he want to do it? So you know it's something heavy coming down the road. So we said yes. I spoke to our president, he said yes. We tried to make it into a national program. Unfortunately, it was brought back to us. Fortunately, perhaps, it was brought back to us. And we have done. So I think we are extremely special to really be here from 6 to 6 to really participate in this wonderful, wonderful exercise of song, of philosophy, of thinking, as he says, Shravanam, Mananam, Nidhi, Yasanam. You listen, you manana, you mull on it, and then you put it into practice. We started this morning with a very powerful meditation. Those of us who were here, we had the 108 chanting of Swami's name. We had a short breakfast. We came back with some bhajans, and his first talk was on leadership. Oh, that was a beautiful session. That was a beautiful session. So many of us think we are leaders, and he brought it really home close to us how much of unleaders we really are. He told us how Sai as a leader, and we must be leaders in our own lives, he tells us. We must be leaders in our family, we must be leaders in our center, we must be leaders in the country. And how Sai did it. He watched Sai up close and personal. I don't think anybody marked Sai. I think he was a stalker. I think he was a Baba stalker. He kind of admitted it. He said he tried to watch the form. And in the morning, he watching the form again. And I think Baba had to straighten him out, which he did. But if a close observer of Baba tells us how to be a leader, the vision of Baba, he didn't wait. Baba dealt with what he had. He acted in the moment, he acted in the present. First time I heard of this wonderful family in Madras who told him to start his mission in Madras, he said, no, he's going back to Taparti. And there he started his mission, and we are all part of the mission. It really was a wonderful talk on leadership, and so much nuggets of information if we take one or two to apply it in our lives. How to be a leader, how do we grow this organization, how do we grow our lives, you know, so much wonderful, wonderful discussions on spiritual leadership. And as I say, I'm glad so many of the members of the Central Council are here and they have absorbed it, and if, you know, we can really cull President that discussion and, you know, get some points from it, and for further manana, we have Shravanam and we have to manana on it now. Because we can't, because Sunder said, you know, so many times, you know, they have meetings like this and they come and they show pictures how much time you with Baba and they sing Tuchi Bhajan, and after that they slap each other and they back and say, boy, what a wonderful program it was, by great boy. Morning you talk to them, they forget everything, you know. It will only be helpful to us, Rudy. I see you smiling, because I know you're a man like this kind of thing. It will only be helpful for us if we cull it and we say, listen, we are going to put in practice, if there are 10 points, at least one, in our personal lives and our organizational life. Thank you, Sunder, for that wonderful guidance. I think it was timely. I think Baba really guided you to come and talk to us on that particular topic. We moved on. We had another bhajan session, and the second discussion, let me see how many of you all were paying attention. The second discourse was on what? Not mind, mindfulness. You see, all you're going back, trying to get you away from the mind, all you're talking mind. It's mindfulness, right? And how we must be mindful in our lives to live a more fulfilling spiritual life. And it was again a very wide-ranging topic. How to be mindful in terms of what you eat, in terms of what you pray, what goes into your system. It's not only the food, it's everything that you see. The only way that you can live a mindful life, a spiritual life, is to be mindful. And he left us with the wonderful 5 affirmations that all of you practice every day, and I'm so glad that all of you know it by heart. Why are you looking so glum? The first affirmation is what? Like you have to come back in the next 2 weeks boy, with these people. It's hard not to cry. I am God, I am God, I am not different from God. Baba gave 5 affirmations on the birthday in 1983. Sunder said, if you practice these 5 affirmations, I'll just step back one bit. When he said he was coming and he did his program, he said, is this program sufficient? I shared it with Terry. Terry said, yes, it's sufficient. So I wrote back Sunder and I said, Sunder, this program is sufficient, but I want to put at the end, if you take part in this program, you will get moksha. He said, no, take that off. But like you should have put it, because like none of you all are paying attention. I am God, I am God, I am not. The second one is, I am the Sunder, that's not. I am the Mami, only you all don't like was listening. I am the Akanda Parabrahma. The third one is? No, that's number 4.
I am
Sachita. Go put your head at the class. You better come and sit down here. I am Sachita Danda. The 4th one is? No, not fear and anxiety. Grief and anxiety cannot affect me. And the 5th one is? I am ever content. Fear cannot enter me. He said, if you do not have these affirmations, please get it. He said, Baba begged us every day, chant these affirmations, manana on the affirmations, and you will be benefited. Mindfulness, 5 aspects of mindfulness. Please, let's take these 5. These 5 are very easy. Wendy has it on her WhatsApp. Type it up, she could WhatsApp it to everybody. So if you all could ask her, Wendy's that girl next to Maya there. Right? And Sunder brought the whole I am in the light is in me, and the light and I are one. Remember, he said, talked about that? And he brought it into our modern lingo when he said, I am in the mall is in me, the mall and I are one. For those of you who just live in malls and just shop and spend all your money, try to bring you back to reality. I am in the mall is in me. The final session, of course, we just completed. We had another bhajan session, and we concluded it with From Form to Formless. And he talked of how his obsession with the form was transmuted into that wonderful experience he had. And he said it is available, that experience is available to all of us, where we can recognize the light and the formlessness, and Baba's emphasis on sound. The importance of sound, the importance of mantra yoga, and he said the highest form of yoga is nada yoga, sound yoga. In the end, he really gave us, and how he told us how important Baba, how easy Baba's made us for us. He said, anyone take it. If you want to chant, sewa, you want to do bhajan, he said, anyone, just take it and work with it, you'll end up in the same goal. So, Sunder, we express our deep gratitude for bringing those messages for us. It is, perhaps, we have heard some of it before, but it is good that you have presented it in such a fashion that we can taste it, we can feel it, and hopefully we can take it and live it. Let us give him. I want to warn you about Sunder too. He have a little funny way about him. He will come downstairs when you all go downstairs and going to eat, and he will ask you. The fourth affirmation, you remember it? I'm just telling all this, so just make sure all your guard, because all you look like all you're half asleep, most of you all here. The second vote of gratitude, I want to thank the executive of the POSSC Science Center, headed by Gayatri, Gina, Wendy, Maya participated. I am seeing Regina, all of you all, Seema, they all came out and really put this program together. I was just a critic, as Sundar said. He said we are like Shiva, they're doing the work and we just meditating. I was just meditating, so when you always call my name, I really didn't do anything much. I was just a conduit for Sundar to speak to me. Give a clap to our ladies of the center. We told them yesterday if this program failed, the punishment will be severe. And then looking like it failed, so we have to reward them. I don't know what we will do. Our third vote of thanks is you, soldiers. Though you brave ones who have sat here from 6 in the morning and listening to me continue ranting after 6 in the afternoon. Without you, there'll be no program. You were such a wonderful audience. You sat, you ate plenty. 3 times already for the day. And we're going to eat again because we have corn soup. We have a wonderful corn soup. But without you, really and truly, there'll be no program. Thanks very much. Clap yourself. Last but certainly not least, our continued inspiration, even in the absence of the form, and who continues to lead us, continues to inspire us, continue to bring his wonderful instruments like Sundar, our dear Bhagwan, Sri Sathya Sai Baba. We want to thank him. Give him a warm welcome. If I have missed anyone and anything, please forgive me. Have we covered everything, Chairman, Chairlady? Sundar, is there anything you wish me to say? Is it okay? Okay, so thank you very much, and leave quietly. Try not to make any noise. We have a lot of food downstairs, and those of you who want to participate in this sewa, please Feel free, Birdie. I know you came from Central just to do our Seva. Thanks very much. Let's go on.